I spent my teenage years until the age of 18 sober. This wasn't because I was an addict. It wasn't specifically because I was Christian or because anyone forced me to. It was because I wanted to prove to myself more than anything that I could survive my teenage years and everyone's 18th birthday parties without feeling like I had to drink to fit in or had to drink to be social. And bearing in mind my birthday's in September, so I had to get through like the first 9 months of the year to succeed this when everyone's 18th birthdays were going on. If I wanted to drink, that was. My mindset was that if I could survive the peer pressure and the self-pressure to drink at these events, then I wouldn't feel an obligation to drink at social events and parties and things going forward in the future. I personally think this wholeheartedly worked for me. Hi and welcome back to the It's a Girl Thing pod. Hi and welcome back to the It's a Girl Thing podcast. Kate, can you speak today? Yes, I can. Maybe it's Saturday night and we may be recording this a little bit late, but I'm here showing up for you and for me. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Kate. I'm a 19-year-old girl who's just taking on the world for the first time, and you're all coming along on this journey with me. And if you've been here for a while, I am so grateful that you tune in every week. Every couple of weeks, whenever you tune in, it means the world to me that people want to hear what I have to say and want to journey this little journey of life with me. So let's have a quick catch up and then get straight into the episode. It's been a very busy week. I did some new types of exams at work, at my hospital placement. So if you don't know, I'm an X-ray student. So my days on clinical placement are spent taking X-rays of people's bones. So I've been doing some different kinds of I started doing some shoulder X-rays, I started doing some other things that I was a little less comfortable with. And so I've decided I'm no longer saying no to any opportunities. If I get asked, how do you feel about doing this? Oh, I'll give it a go. Because the worst thing I have to do is I have to get asked for help partway through, and that's okay. So if you didn't pick up from my little introduction story time, we're talking about drinking this week. Drinking culture, party culture, and the peer pressure and expectations that come with it. Because we all know it's 2024. Drinking is a huge part of our society. Whether it's going out and partying, whether it's having social drinks, or whether it's, just birthday parties. No matter what it is, there's such an emphasis on drinking at our age and in our society that we're in. So I want to talk about it as somebody who's not hugely into alcohol, but is also very aware of what I drink, because I'm somebody who I personally just really don't want to develop addictions or feel forced to, or have this expectation that because I'm somewhere I have to have a drink in hand kind of thing. So let's get into some convo about it, because drinking culture is becoming more normalized, but this doesn't mean it has to be your normal. Hey, I have friends who had their big drinking stage at age 14, 15, and now at age 21, they're nah, that's not for me anymore. And I find that crazy, because I'm thinking about 14, 15-year-old Kate, and I'm that girl was so innocent to the world that the idea of actually having alcoholic drinks and leaving the house and sneaking out and going to parties and things like that was the furthest thing from her mind. Whereas now I'm okay, I could go out, I could get a drink, but I don't have to. And your path and your choices when it comes to drinking and partying and socializing, these are all yours to make, and they're all yours to make about how you feel and how you want to experience these things going forward. And it's easier said than done, because it gets harder to say no to every drink every time you're asked. So it's easy to say no the first time. It's I'm not quite sure I feel like drinking tonight, or no, I might have one later, but not right now. But the more times you ask, the more it's no, sorry, I guess I can have one. And that's where this pressured feeling of but do I really want to say no again comes in, and you're well, okay, I guess I'll have a drink. But you don't have to have a drink. You get to have a drink, you can have a drink, but you should not have to have a drink. So my number one trick for this, to combat the like saying no thing, is to have a drink in hand. Always. Because if you're drinking alcohol, whether it's a mocktail or a can of Sprite or an alcoholic drink, if that's really what you want to do, but we're talking about like combating the no, saying no to alcohol, I discovered that you can also find a lot of 0% like alcoholic drinks that look like the real thing, or soft drinks that are packaged like the RTD style thing, but they're actually non-alcoholic, and it kind of gives you that feeling like you're fitting in, like you're one of the cool kids, like you feel less like an outsider because you aren't drinking. But hey, if you just want a bright red can or a bright green can of Coke or Sprite, then don't let anything stop you, because hey, Sprite is good. Same said for wanting to have a drink or 2 or 3. If you want to have a drink, you can have a drink, but what we're trying to say and trying to teach you is you don't have to have a drink. All I say is know your limits and enjoy your time. Peer pressure and partying can change both knowing your limits and boundaries, whether you're choosing to have alcohol or not. Because if you're part of like a big group of social drinkers who like go out and have drinks after work or school or uni or whatever, regularly, weekly, whatever it may be, you're more likely to experience the peer pressure that comes with that, whether it's drinking or wanting to go out to the clubs or to a party after. And the people who are more likely to do that consistently, you're more likely to be exposed to that pressure. That doesn't mean that you need to change your friend circles, and it doesn't mean that your friends aren't good people, and it doesn't actually mean anything about them as a whole. It kind of talks to society and the way we choose to act and the way we think we're supposed to act. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. You can be someone who's an occasional partier, and you can still go out with your heavy social drinking circle. Nothing stops you from doing that. What you have to know is, when do I say no? When do you reach your limit that you're like, I want to go home for the night? Because I am friends with some girlies who definitely are more into going out clubbing or going out to the bars, staying out late, into having drinks, getting drunk, those kind of things. And I have absolutely no problem with that for them. But me, I prefer to be in bed by like 11 o'clock if we're like going out. I may have a drink, one drink, I may have no drinks. I am not a huge club gal, it's just too overwhelming, but I love some good live music. But basically, I don't like being out for too long. But I love these girls so much because they invite me out every time, are happy if I say no. But the biggest thing is, if they invite me out, I can say, well, I'm so keen to come out, I'm so hyped for a good time. But when I hit like my 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'm like, okay, are you guys okay to walk me home now? Because I loved every bit of time I had with them. But if I don't go home now, I'll start to have a bad time, I'll start to be a Debbie Downer, I'll start to resent them for it and resent going out. Whereas I love loving going out for the time that I like to go out, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But I love these girls because they always go, oh yeah, we'll walk you home. Or if they invite me out, they'll be like, we can walk you home at 10. Or you don't have to stay the whole time, because they know that I get overwhelmed or that my social battery dies, and that's okay, and they embrace that and they love me for that way, and they know that that's my boundary. So find yourself people that know your boundaries, honour your boundaries, and that you feel okay enforcing your boundaries with. Because studies have shown that your ability to stand up to your friends and peers doesn't change that much from age 18 to 30. That means me when I turned 18 and me to 30 have about the same ability to say no. And I think maybe subconsciously that was part of my reason for staying sober until I was 18, so that I felt comfortable saying no, and I felt comfortable in that time learning what my boundaries were. Like, I still went to parties, but I saw how other people reacted, and I saw what they did, and I knew, okay, well, that's what I want my limit to be, or I'm not quite sure I'm comfortable with that. And I think for me that's been a huge teaching experience. And now if you're already over 18, that doesn't mean that you just have to accept where you are now. You are more than capable of resetting your boundaries. It's never too late to stop, take a pause, and assess. How does the social experience, the drinking experience that you have, how does it make you feel? Is it making you feel good? Is it making you feel not good? Do you have regrets? And then tweak it till you enjoy yourself, until you want to go out, and until you don't have those regrets. And that's your new boundaries. And you just have to start learning how to share those boundaries with the people around you. So get used to saying no, get used to saying yes, get used to knowing what works for you. Because drinking culture doesn't have to be normal for you. Party culture doesn't have to be normal for you. Feeling peer pressured at parties doesn't have to feel normal for you. You can have your normal be whatever you want it to be. You get to determine the trajectory of your experience. So to sum it all up, really just know who you want to be around and step away from the people you don't. If people aren't respecting your boundaries, they're not worth being around. Be okay making the hard decisions, but making the decisions that you want to make regarding drinking, partying, and all those things. And find your people who support it, who want to do what you want, and who are prepared to make alterations to their plans for you, and you're prepared to make alterations to your plans for them. It's, what's the word? It's, where you two, compromise. See, I come to the words eventually, but it's a compromise sometimes. But that doesn't mean you have to compromise on all your boundaries. It just means that you know where the very end of them lies, and you can compromise up until then. So thank you for chatting with us about drinking. It's quite a hard one to tackle because, as I said, it's so normalized, and if you don't drink and party, you're seen as some kind of different or weird person, but you're not. You're human, you're normal, and you're the wonderful you. So in light of that, let's have a little hype girl moment. Hey girl, this is your reminder that you are strong, capable, and worthy of every single dream you have. Life can be overwhelming, whether that's drinking, social peer pressures, stress, everyday things, but you are handling it. I know you are, because every strong, small, powerful step you take, every challenge you face, is building you up to be the best version of yourself. Because nobody else has your unique sense of, well, just being you. So you will end up exactly where you need to be, exactly when you're supposed to be there. So take a breath, let go of your doubts, let go of your worries, and just be in this moment. Let's just keep doing life one step at a time and live the life you want to live. I've got your back, and I'm always here. I'll be cheering you every step of the way. Until next time. Thank you for being here, and don't forget to come back next week for another episode. And if you have any other girlfriends who you know just need a space to be, to journey through life, to talk about those awkward, uncomfortable topics, nothing is too big or small to tackle here. If there's anything you want to discuss, for me to chat about that maybe, hey, you just need another opinion on, send me a message, leave a comment on the podcast. I promise I will either respond personally to you or I will talk about it in an upcoming episode, because I know what it's like to not know who to turn to and not know who to ask about those things. So thank you, you're amazing, and we'll see you next week. Bye.